The confusion swirling around Trump's Supreme Court pick only grows as we head to the now planned Thursday hearing. A familiar tormentor of the president is stepping into the mix with what he describes as, quote, credible information about Brett Kavanaugh. That tormentor, of course, none other than Michael Avenatti. What does the counselor have to say? Let's see. Michael Avenatti, thank you for being on Cuomo Primetime once again.
Good to be here.
Well, you find yourself in the middle of the maelstrom again, Michael. What do you believe that you know from your latest client, or is it clients, plural?
Well, at this point, Chris, it's clients. We're going to make a public disclosure within the next 48 hours of detailed allegations, as well as the identity of at least one of my clients relating to what she witnessed and experienced concerning Brett Kavanaugh and Mark Judge. And ultimately, we're going to let the American public decide who's telling the truth.
So this is about high school. If you're talking Mark Judge and Kavanaugh, that was his friend in high school. One client will come forward, but you may have multiple ones. What's the difference between the one who may come forward and the others? Is it a lack of certainty, a lack of disposition about wanting to enter the fray?
Well, it's about a lack of disposition wanting to enter the fray, but we have corroborating witnesses, corroborating clients, Chris, if you will, relating to the individual that is going to surface publicly and what she's going to state. And let me just be really clear about something. If anyone has been paying attention over the last 6 to 7 months, they know that I do not traffic in rumor and nonsense. I state facts and I have evidence to back it up. I made a lot of predictions over the last 6, 7 months. I've been proven right time and time again, and I would not make these accusations lightly. I understand the magnitude of the water, if you will, that we're in presently. So I'm highly confident in the accusations that are going to be made and the statements that are going to be made by my client.
So we're not in court. There are different standards. There are no real rules. We're trying to figure out how to provide the sufficiency for allegations. Do you believe that your client can say something in a compelling way, or can they actually show something?
I think my client can do both together with these other corroborating witnesses. I think that
meaning people who were there at the same time, Michael, give us an understanding of what that means. What can be corroborated?
That's correct. Well, I'm not able to get into the details of what exactly can be corroborated, but we are talking about witnesses that were present at the same time, generally that she was. We're talking about the early 1980s. I think that America is going to find her credible. And, you know, above all else, Chris, there should be an FBI investigation. We called for an FBI investigation earlier today. I do not understand the rush to confirm Brett Kavanaugh. The Republicans held the seat open relating to Antonin Scalia for some 400 days, and now they want to rush this confirmation process without an adequate investigatory time period, without an adequate investigation conducted by the FBI and others. And if Brett Kavanaugh has nothing to hide, then why aren't we hearing from his close friend, Mark Judge? Why such a rush to get through this process without all of the facts?
If time is so precious, why are you waiting 48 hours?
Because we have to make sure our ducks are in a row, especially as it relates to security and other measures. We don't want to rush into this. We want to be smart about it. We want to be deliberative about it. And that's why we're waiting. And I don't think it's a lot of time to wait, quite frankly.
All right, so Brett Kavanaugh and his wife just gave an interview with Fox where he sat up there and gave pretty much every perfect answer that he would need to give in this situation. You came up in the interview. I want to play you that excerpt.
We're talking about an allegation of sexual assault. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. I did not have sexual intercourse or anything close to sexual intercourse in high school or for many years thereafter. And the girls from the schools I went to and I were friends.
So you're saying that through all these years that are in question, you were a virgin?
That's correct.
So the idea of you having a client or clients who could say otherwise, Kavanaugh says, never had sex in high school, never had sex afterwards, drank but basically as a senior, he said, because the legal drinking age was 18. May have had a few too many, but never forgot anything. Never drank to excess so that I blacked out. Never did anything like what anyone is saying.
Chris, I just think it's absolutely unbelievable, and I think the American people are smarter than this. You cannot reconcile the individual in the Fox News interview with the individual who wrote what he wrote in his yearbook. You cannot reconcile the individual on Fox News with the individual that was joined at the hip with Mark Judge throughout the years at issue. You just can't. You cannot reconcile those two. And I don't believe that America is going to believe what Brett Kavanaugh just stated on Fox News. And I also want to say this. So what exactly is he saying? Is he saying that he did not have sexual intercourse? And are we going to get into a definition
That's the word he
of
used.
exactly? Well, exactly. I mean, are we going to get into a definition of sexual intercourse? I mean, does that mean that he performed oral sex or had oral sex performed on him? Does that mean any host of any other sexual activities occurred? Or does he want America to believe that the only thing that he did until well into his college years was effectively kiss or French kiss a woman? Is that what he wants America to believe?
Well,
because
if the senators
I don't believe it.
But what if the senators do? Does that clear him?
Well, I don't believe it, and I think it shows that he's lying, and I am aware of many, many witnesses that will testify that that is an absolute lie.
As counselor to this woman or women, you're going to have to put up some proof that shows he's not telling the truth. And
100%. That is our burden, and we're going to embrace it, and we're going to meet it. And I'm confident that Dr. Ford is going to embrace it and meet it. And I think that there's going to be others that are going to embrace it and meet that standard. But this Fox News interview and the statements that Brett Kavanaugh just stated tonight, I think will ultimately be shown to be 100% demonstrably false.
Now, there'll be two lines of scrutiny. One will be for the women. They're going to have to stand up to scrutiny here, even if they are alleging that they were victimized. And that's a hard thing for us to grapple with. This is all a struggle. We don't like putting it to accusers like that, but not all allegations are equal. Will they stand up to vetting? When people look into their past and their behavior and their reliability and credibility, will they stand up?
Well, I can't speak to other women other than the individuals that I represent. I believe that all of my clients will absolutely stand up. And if I did not believe that, then I want to be on television with you right now talking about representing a client in a circumstance. Because again, I don't traffic in rumor and nonsense. I traffic in facts and evidence. And if I didn't believe my clients, then I wouldn't be representing them, especially in a matter of this significance. And let me also say this. As it relates to the woman whose name will be publicly disclosed, this is a woman who had a number of security clearances issued by the federal government over a number of years, including a public trust security clearance as well as a secret security clearance. So let this be a warning to Donald Trump, Brett Kavanaugh, and other surrogates, including those on the Senate Judiciary Committee. I will caution you, be very, very careful if you launch some smear campaign against my client, because you will be ultimately shown to be a fraud.
Is she a victim or is she a witness?
She's both.
One other thing, one other line of scrutiny will be with you involved. You have made predictions. They have come true in cases for sure. You did promise early on that you had other women you were vetting that you were going to bring forward. It never happened. If people point to that and say, we've heard you say you had people before, there were never more, what does that mean for this time?
Well, that's actually not what I said. What I said was we had been contacted by many women and we were vetting them to make sure their stories checked out. Mm-hmm. A number of their stories did not check out, which is why I never agreed to represent them.
Michael Avenatti, thank you for coming on the show and sharing what we should know, you say, in the next 48 hours. Appreciate it.
Thank you.